Technology and mental health. How connected are we to good mental health? Adults have always been concerned about new trends and how they affect youth. Generation gaps exist because, as time progresses, new developments can lead to new attitudes and values. But American professor of psychology, Dr. Jean M. Twenge, recently noticed something abnormal about the way this present generation of teens is developing. According to Twenge, the qualities that characterize the attitudes and values of a new generation usually reveal themselves gradually. But instead of a progressive expression of the qualities that define a generation, there was an abrupt shift around 2012. Not only was it a change in attitude, but it also was a radical change in behavior. And it all centered on the time that smartphone ownership in the United States exceeded about 50% of the population. Twenge argues that since the 1970s, American culture has placed more and more value on individuality and independence. But this generation of teenagers is suddenly less likely to leave the house without their parents. She even found that 12th graders went out less often in 2015 than 8th graders did in 2009. A study published in the journal Pediatrics shows that there is another disturbing trend in American youth. Starting around 2014, the number of teenagers who reported experiencing a major depressive episode, or MDE, in the previous 12 months had risen dramatically. An MDE is defined as a loss of interest or pleasure in daily activities for more than 2 weeks. During that time, people experience specific symptoms of depression nearly every day. This can range from a depressed or irritable mood to a significant change in sleep, activity, concentration, or appetite. Moreover, it can include thoughts of death or suicide. In 2016, more than 3 million kids in the U.S. aged 12 to 17 reported experiencing at least one MDE in the past year. Even more distressing is the rise in suicide rates. Prior to 2010, the suicide rate in the U.S. had been declining for almost 20 years. Now, suicide rates for teens in the U.S. have been rising, especially among girls. The rate for girls between the ages of 13 and 18 increased by 65% between 2010 and 2015. No one can say definitively why teen suicide rates are rising. However, Dr. Twenge sees a direct connection between the rise of mental health issues and the use of social media. According to her study, 8th graders who spend from 6 to 9 hours a week on social media are 47% more likely to say they are unhappy. Heavy users of social media are 27% more at risk of depression. Excessive use of social media can lead to a lack of sufficient sleep. Difficulty in sleeping can contribute to, or even cause, depressive disorders. But Dr. Twenge sees another problem. Social media doesn't just have the power to connect kids day and night. It also reinforces the age-old concern of being left out. Today, teens might spend less time going out and being with friends in person. When they do, it's always posted on social media, and those not invited are acutely aware of it. Other factors, like cyberbullying, certainly also play a role. So, if anyone wants to stay connected to mental health, it might be better to put that phone away more often. Word bank. Abnormal. I received an abnormal amount of comments on my last video. Characterize. You really don't want to be characterized by your bad habits. Abrupt. Our conversation came to an abrupt end when the phone rang. Exceed. Take care not to exceed the speed limit. Episode. Some people experience an episode of depression when they struggle in life. Symptom. Frequent sweating can be a symptom of a health problem. Irritable. I am usually irritable before my first cup of coffee. Distress. It's really distressing that I don't know where my phone is. Definitively. This definitively proves once and for all that I didn't do it. Excessive. It is unacceptable for the police to use excessive force. Reinforce. The news today just reinforces my dislike of politics. Acutely. She is very sensitive, and that's why she feels everything so acutely. More information. Pediatrics. Depressive. Cyberbully. Talk about it. Why do you think teens today might go out less often than in the past? Do you feel that you use your smartphone too much? Explain. Does using social media 6 or more hours a week sound like too much to you? Why or why not?